Archangel Michael says, "The room fell silent the moment your name was spoken last Sunday." Eyes darted toward each other, voices lowered, and one person even stood up in disbelief. The truth that followed after your name was mentioned left many in that gathering shaken beyond words. It wasn't just a casual mention, it was like lightning cut through the air, piercing every hidden intention. Someone dropped their glass. Another walked out of the room pretending to take a phone call, but they were just trying to hide their reaction. The person who brought up your name did so with a tone of awe, not fear. But the ones who reacted, they were not ready to hear it. Because what was spoken revealed a destiny you carry, one they had tried to bury. One woman, older in age but sharp in strategy, bit her lip and looked down. She knew what was coming next. A man beside her clenched his jaw so tight, you could hear the cracking silence between his teeth. Type Amen to get blessing 333. They thought you would remain in the shadows forever, forgotten and left behind. But last Sunday proved otherwise, the energy shifted when your name rose. A divine force was watching, and it activated something the moment you were brought into the conversation. There were attempts made to cover up something about you, documents, words, plans you had once shared in trust. Now those very truths are rising back to the surface. And some of the same people who tried to block you are the ones feeling threatened by your return. One of them had once laughed at you, mocked your beliefs, dismissed your spirit. But last Sunday, they had no words. The revelation about your resilience, your survival, and the power of your calling stunned even them. Type Amen to get blessing 781. Archangel Michael says, someone you once considered a friend turned the tides in your favor unexpectedly. They stood up and said something no one expected them to say. They confirmed a part of your story that many tried to deny. There was hesitation in the room after that. One woman's hands trembled under the table. Because what was said next hinted at a hidden truth: your name was never meant to be erased. Instead, the light around you grew so strong that it pierced through every lie. The one who used to curse you in silence has now gone silent in fear. They are realizing they can't outrun what's coming toward them because of what they did to you. Type Amen to get blessing 1172. They mentioned a date. A date where everything will change. Your name was not only mentioned, but it was also written down again, on a list they swore you'd never return to. This time, it wasn't out of pity. It was out of recognition. Because someone powerful saw through the fog and declared, they deserve more than this. One person protested quietly. Another texted someone under the table, trying to damage control. But it was too late. The truth had been said out loud, and the angels were already present in that room. Type Amen to get blessing 609. The moment you walked away back then, they assumed you lost. But what they didn't know is you were growing in silence. You were preparing, healing, becoming everything they were not ready for. And now, the way your name returned, it wasn't just mentioned. It was celebrated by someone who once doubted you. That moment struck like thunder to those who plotted your downfall. One of them had a plan in place, a deal, a scheme, a trap. But that plan crumbled instantly when the person at the head of the table declared that your presence was needed. Your return wasn't a question. It was a prophecy fulfilling itself. Type Amen to get blessing 428. They are scared. Not because you're dangerous, but because you carry light. Because what they tried to do in darkness is now being seen clearly. Last Sunday wasn't just a gathering. It was an unveiling. A spiritual contract was torn in half the moment your name echoed in that space. The paper they wrote lies on had no power anymore. Their whispers were drowned out by truth. One of them, a relative, turned their face away in shame. Type Amen to get blessing 2501. There's someone, older, wiser, not a stranger to you, who said they always knew you'd rise again. They defended you. Not just with words, but with proof. The conversation shifted after that. What was once doubt turned into stunned silence. People looked at each other, wondering how they missed the signs all along. One woman, who had tried to take your place in the past, quickly excused herself. She pretended to answer a call, but really, she couldn't bear hearing more about you. Her plan to outshine you fell apart that Sunday. Type Amen to get blessing 914. Archangel Michael says, you are being vindicated by the same voices that once denied you. The circle has turned, and your name now holds weight it never had before. This is not by luck, this is divine correction in motion. Something was signed that day, spiritually and physically. A door that was shut so tightly is now swinging wide open. You were mentioned not by accident, but by divine design. They are wondering how you're still standing. How you're still glowing. How your energy speaks before you even walk into a room. Type Amen to get blessing 3333. More truths are coming. One of them includes a letter. A letter that was supposed to be destroyed long ago, but someone kept it, and they read it last Sunday. Your name was at the top of that letter. And the details inside shook them to the core. It described who you are, what you've survived, and why the heavens are surrounding you now. One man in the room started shaking his leg nervously. He knew once that letter was read, there was no turning back. He's the one who tried to hide it years ago. Type Amen to get blessing 679. There was a photo passed around as well. Your face in it, radiant, calm, and powerful. Someone pointed at it and said, how could we have forgotten this? The answer hung heavy in the room, they didn't forget. They chose to ignore. But destiny refused to be ignored any longer. Someone among them had been dreaming of you. Seeing you in their sleep. They didn't tell anyone before, but on Sunday, they spoke, and when they did, chills filled the room. Type Amen to get blessing 1189. The dreams were warnings. The voice in the dream told them to prepare. That you were coming back stronger, and nothing could stop your name from being honored again. The person who used to control the narrative tried to change the subject. But it was too late. Everyone's attention was fixed. You were no longer a memory. You became a message. A message of what happens when someone is chosen and protected by divine light. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $20. Type Amen to get blessing 295. They tried to interrupt the conversation with laughter. But even their laughter cracked with nervousness. Because inside, they could feel the shift happening. Their power was breaking apart. Their grip on the story was slipping. Because the truth about what they did to you could no longer be held back. They know now that they'll have to answer. To people. To heaven. To the consequences that have already started falling one by one. Type Amen to get blessing 927. One woman confessed something. Her voice trembled as she said it. And what she revealed turned the entire room upside down. She admitted that years ago, she knew what was done to you was wrong. But fear held her back from speaking up. That fear is gone now. She asked for your forgiveness, even though you weren't there. Her words opened a new path for your favor to pour in again. The blockages are dissolving, because justice is flowing. Type Amen to get blessing 654. Your name will be spoken more in the days ahead. But this time with respect, not rejection. With honor, not hesitation. That Sunday was the beginning of your return. People who never defended you before are rising now, one by one. Even strangers are being moved to stand by your truth. Because what's upon you isn't just restoration, it's public favor. A spiritual spotlight. A turning tide that no one can stop now. Type Amen to get blessing 3337. Archangel Michael says, you are protected while the dust settles. You don't have to fight to be heard anymore. The words spoken on Sunday were enough to spark the chain of events already unfolding. Keep your heart steady. Keep your eyes focused. What they once tried to hide will now be broadcast. One of the people there couldn't sleep after that gathering. They kept replaying your name in their mind. Because they know, they can no longer pretend you don't exist. Type Amen to get blessing 1101. The divine has chosen this moment to raise you. That Sunday was more than just a conversation, it was prophecy taking shape. It was the first stone being removed from the wall they built against you. And now, the whole wall is starting to fall. Not because you pushed it, but because heaven shook it. All that was buried will come alive again. You will soon receive a call. A message. A confirmation. From someone who was there and heard your name spoken with fire and truth. Type Amen to get blessing 1429. And when that message comes, it will carry more than words. It will carry weight. Evidence. A reversal they never expected to happen. You are no longer outside the circle. You are the center now. Not by force, but by divine favor. And everyone who doubted will watch it happen. Not in secret. Not in silence. But in full view of heaven and earth. Type Amen to get blessing 3733. Their silence now speaks louder than their lies ever did. After last Sunday, the atmosphere around your name changed permanently. It's as if the air itself refuses to let your legacy be forgotten. One woman who used to celebrate your failures now fears your rise. She's been having restless nights, unable to shake the feeling that something she hid is about to surface. That's because the divine clock has struck the hour of exposure. There's a man too, someone who used to smile in your face while poisoning your name behind your back. He avoided eye contact the entire time your name was mentioned. He's scared, because he knows his mask is slipping. The person who finally spoke up for you was not expected to do so. But they were spiritually moved to tell the truth. And their voice cracked open a new path for your vindication. Type Amen to get blessing 1221. They spoke about a moment you shared years ago, something you did that no one acknowledged then. But it stayed in that person's memory like a holy stamp. That moment changed them, and they never forgot your light. Now they've come forward. They said, "This name carries value. This name deserves to rise." And just like that, the tables turned. Some in the room tried to minimize your worth. But the power of truth broke through their pretenses. Your spirit was felt even though you weren't there. The room filled with a strange warmth, and one person swore they felt chills down their spine. They knew, something divine was watching over that conversation. Type Amen to get blessing 884. Someone even brought up a prophetic dream they had about you. They didn't share it before, but on that day, they couldn't hold it anymore. In the dream, you were walking through a golden door while others stood in darkness behind you. The vision was clear, and they described every detail. One of the listeners dropped their head into their hands. Because the door in the dream resembled the one you were denied in real life. They realized that what they tried to block was heaven's anointed mission. Your rise is no longer an option, it's mandatory by divine law. The dreamer said they woke up crying, not knowing why, until they saw your name in real life days later. Now they're sure. Your name is written in heaven's records and has been marked for elevation. Type Amen to get blessing 1902. One person in that meeting is trying to run. They know what's coming. But you don't have to chase anything, God has already dispatched angels to deliver what was delayed. There's a financial matter connected to this. A decision involving your name is being reopened. A payment that was blocked is now being traced. You will hear about this soon, and when you do, you'll remember this message. Someone tried to take credit for something you did. But the truth is exposing every hand that tried to steal your harvest. Your name is now attached to breakthrough. To compensation. To destiny. Type Amen to get blessing 312. Archangel Michael says, someone wrote your name down in a contract with blessings attached to it. You were excluded before, but now they're rewriting the agreement. They have no choice. Because the divine storm has swept through their secrets. Those who tried to erase your contribution now must acknowledge your presence. They can no longer deny your value. Your life is shifting into a new chapter. That Sunday was the announcement. Even your enemies sensed it, though they won't admit it. But watch closely. One by one, doors will open. Emails will arrive. Messages will come that sound like miracles. Type Amen to get blessing 721. The person who led the meeting even said, "This is long overdue." They shook their head as they reread a file with your name on it. It was like they were realizing they were wrong all along. You're not average. You're not forgotten. You are divinely preserved and now publicly acknowledged. They called your resilience unbelievable. But that's because they don't understand the oil on your life. What they see now is just the beginning. They're going to witness things they thought were impossible happen for you, and it will humble them in silence. Type Amen to get blessing 2417. Even the building where that meeting happened felt heavy with divine pressure. One man said he felt like he couldn't breathe. Another said, "I feel something here, and I don't know why." That was the presence of divine justice. It was watching, listening, and moving. Your angels were standing in that room, shifting things in your favor. And now, someone who was against you is being moved to serve your cause. They will act, even though it scares them. Because their spirit has been touched, and they are seeing visions. They will help carry a blessing to your door. You won't even have to ask. Type Amen to get blessing 1000. The one who hurt you most, who enjoyed your silence, was quietest during the meeting. They know your name is a reminder of their guilt. They felt like they were being exposed even without anyone pointing fingers. And now, the person beside them has started asking questions. They want to know what really happened back then. And slowly, the story is unraveling. More witnesses will come forward. Details will match. The story will shift, and you will finally be believed by everyone who once ignored your truth. Even people you forgot about are starting to remember you. Their conscience is waking up. Type Amen to get blessing 1399. That's not just nostalgia. That's spiritual order being restored. And your name, once buried in their minds, is now being revived on their lips. You will be called into rooms you thought were closed forever. Invited to tables you were once denied. Praised in spaces where your name used to be mocked. Everything is shifting now. The pain, the waiting, the rejection, it's turning into divine compensation. And last Sunday was the evidence of that unfolding miracle. Your presence is being requested not as a backup, but as a priority. Type Amen to get blessing 2666. Archangel Michael says, your soul has passed the tests others tried to trap you in. You chose silence when you could have shouted. You chose faith when you were being falsely accused. Heaven saw it. The meeting last Sunday was just the beginning of what's being done on your behalf. Your name is about to go further than even you expected. Even people in authority will speak of you with admiration. An older woman who once ignored your struggle will mention you by name in a place of power. and her words will carry weight. It's not favoritism, it's divine balance. Type Amen to get blessing 1033. Those who tried to hurt you with words are now being silenced by the truth. Every lie is being dismantled. Every shadow is being exposed. Someone even suggested calling you. Reaching out to offer what should have been given long ago. That call will come soon, and it will bring not just words, but restoration. The voice on the other end will sound hesitant. They'll try to act casual. But you'll hear it in their tone, they know your worth now. They know they mishandled you. Type Amen to get blessing 733. And one of them will break. They'll admit everything. Not because they want to, but because they have no peace left until they do. Their confession will bring closure. Not pain. And when it happens, you won't need revenge, you'll feel release. That's the power of divine justice, it heals what the world tries to hide. And now, your life will carry evidence of that power. Everywhere you go, your name will carry divine confirmation. Signs will follow you. Doors will open without knocking. Type Amen to get blessing 9999. You are not who they said you were. You are far more. You are divinely seen, deeply protected, and finally honored. That Sunday is now being referred to as the day everything changed by those who were there. They may not say it to you, but they're already saying it to each other. Your name was written in light. Spoken with power. And backed by heaven. Now, watch what happens next. You are not just rising, you're becoming a living message of divine restoration. Type Amen to get blessing 5555. The days following that Sunday have felt different for them. Conversations are quieter now. The ones who were loud about your failures are whispering because your rise has caught them off guard. A few are already preparing new narratives to save themselves. They want to rewrite the past before others discover what they did to you. But it's too late, the spiritual pen has already documented their deeds. There are documents, files, and testimonies being reviewed in silence. Your name is being highlighted. Circled. Noted with urgency. They're wondering how they'll face you when everything is exposed. Because your light is moving ahead of you, preparing places even they cannot stop anymore. Type Amen to get blessing 2111. One woman who once blocked an opportunity from reaching you has fallen silent in meetings. Her voice shakes when your name is brought up now. Because she sees the exact door she tried to shut for you is now opening under her nose. That door is not only opening, it's widening. More space is being created for your presence. They are clearing rooms spiritually and physically for your arrival. You are not stepping into the room alone. Divine forces are walking before you. And the person who once outranked you will now be required to serve beside you. This is the rearrangement of spiritual rank. And it is only just beginning. Type Amen to get blessing 444. Another person is feeling sick, not physically, but emotionally. They're remembering what they said behind your back. The words are echoing now, louder than ever before. Because someone in their life who respects you brought your name up with admiration. And they froze. Because they couldn't understand how you're being praised in the same places they tried to shame you. This is divine irony. The trap they laid became their testimony. The curses they threw turned into crowns you'll wear. You didn't have to fight back. Your spirit remained clean. And now heaven is fighting for you in places you haven't even walked into yet. Type Amen to get blessing 1444. One of them is asking themselves, how did we miss it? How did they not see the greatness in you? But the truth is, they did see it. That's why they feared it. That Sunday brought that fear back to the surface. But this time, they can't cover it. Because too many eyes are now watching, and too many hearts are now awakening to who you are. The time for secrecy is over. The divine spotlight is on you now. And every hidden plot is becoming a public platform. Your favor is being televised in the spirit realm. Type Amen to get blessing 3330. A powerful man who once refused to acknowledge you is now rethinking his choices. He's been shown something, a dream, a sign, a conversation, that has shifted his heart. He knows he must include you now. And he will. He'll reach out in the coming weeks. At first, it may be through someone else, but eventually, his words will find you directly. You'll be offered something unexpected. Something they said would never be yours. But now it's being shaped with your name on it. Heaven is assigning people to deliver what others delayed. Type Amen to get blessing 5551. Archangel Michael says, someone who betrayed you is now being haunted by your memory. Every time they try to move forward, they are reminded of what they did to you. And it's tearing them apart silently. They tried to move on without apologizing, but it's not working. They see your glow rising and their soul trembles. Because they know you carried purity even when they brought chaos. Their fear is not just guilt, it's recognition. They're realizing you were divinely chosen long before they ever knew your name. Now, the weight of that truth is breaking the chains around your blessing. Type Amen to get blessing 700. They're planning events now. New initiatives. Projects. And guess whose name keeps coming up in every conversation? Yours. They can't move forward without acknowledging you. The space you once occupied spiritually is now demanding your return physically. And no one can fill it the way you do. Every replacement they tried has failed. The light never stayed with anyone else. Because you are the original vessel, anointed to carry the flame. The divine doesn't copy. It confirms. And confirmation is arriving for you in waves. Type Amen to get blessing 1488. Even people who don't know your full story are starting to feel pulled toward you. They're hearing your name from others, seeing signs, feeling your energy in the room. And they want to know more. This is spiritual recall. Your destiny is being remembered by people who never even met you before. They're sensing a shift, and you are at the center of it. Expect invitations. Expect unexpected kindness. Doors are opening through people you didn't even know existed. Because your name has been activated in the higher realm, and now it's flowing into the earth. Type Amen to get blessing 288. They tried to paint you as difficult, as unworthy, as ordinary. But the truth always had a louder voice, it just needed the right moment. Last Sunday was that moment. One sentence shifted everything. A truth spoken without fear. A witness brave enough to say, no, this person is not what you claimed. And with that, the illusion collapsed. Type Amen to get blessing 2220. Since then, new alignments are being made. You'll find people coming to you, telling you things you thought no one noticed. Some will apologize. Others will admit they were wrong. And you will stand tall, not in revenge, but in revelation. You are being revealed. You are being honored in the places that once rejected you. The days of false narratives are over. Type Amen to get blessing 888. Someone who wronged you is now facing consequences. Not by your hands, but by divine order. What they did in secret is now unfolding in their life like a mirror. They're living the very lies they tried to place on you. Meanwhile, your life is blooming. The same places that caused you pain are now preparing to honor you. The whispers behind your back are turning into public praise. It's a holy reversal. And it's only just beginning. Type Amen to get blessing 1555. There's a celebration being prepared with your name attached. They won't tell you just yet, but it's already in motion. Your presence is requested, not as a guest, but as the focus. Your name is in the room, even before your feet enter. There is power in this. Heaven wrote this story and earth is now catching up to it. Type Amen to get blessing 377. That Sunday was sacred. A holy collision of truth and time. And now, it has unlocked doors even you forgot you knocked on. You will see results soon. In your inbox. In your mailbox. On your phone. Expect the unexpected. Expect confirmation. Because your name, once whispered in secrecy, is now being shouted in reverence. Type Amen to get blessing 1190.